for the most part, like, what's the most common goal of everybody? I want to lose fat and build muscle, right?
Exactly.
What other better training is there than fucking bodybuilding training
Yep.
for that?
Yep.
Right.
Seriously, like we've already
Yeah.
perfected the fucking craft.
Yeah.
Yep.
Train
Exactly.
for hypertrophy. Make sure you're, eating a caloric deficit, right? Making sure that macros are in a place where it's going to benefit you from, an entirety of a standpoint, and you're solid. That's just what bodybuilding is at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of Paradise Pump. And today we have a special guest, Adam Sohail. That's how you say it, right? Sohail?
That is, yeah,
Sohail.
that's correct. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Wait,
Bodybuilder,
wait, 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 wait. You're
Marine,
jacking
you
this
know.
all up. Let me take care of this. Adam Sohail, United States Marine
Cutting me
Corps.
out.
April 2023 Stingray Classic, first place in novice bodybuilding, second place open light heavy, right? April 2024 Stingray Classic Open Bodybuilder overall champ. In June, right after that, you got married. July, you had your baby Hunter. February 2025, you went to recruiting school,
Yeah, that's right.
and now you're leaving us.
I am. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I've lived in Hawaii for 6.5 years now. I've been training in Iron Hawaiian for 3.5 actually. So I've been training here for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but first of all, I just want to say like thank you guys for letting me have the opportunity to come on this podcast. I think that it's awesome that you guys are like really the first legitimate, bodybuilding slash fitness podcast like here on Island. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. Like
There's
it's
other podcasts, but we're like
Pretty
mainly
consistent.
mainly fitness bodybuilding,
the
right?
most
Yeah.
consistent. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, really cool stuff. I just appreciate the opportunity to
Oh
be
yeah,
here and,
man.
and chop it
Yeah.
up with you guys.
Well, because I know you're leaving soon, so I was like, I really wanted to get you on here
Yeah,
and talk to you. And you've done a bunch of shows. Mel's got all the bio info, man.
yeah,
So
appreciate you.
we
So
can
you had
count
a
on.
really busy year last year, and then leading into this year. Besides that, the past 3.5 years that you've been training out of Iron Hawaiian Fitness, I mean, I probably don't talk to much people. I just come in and do my shit and leave.
Same here.
But I've seen you grow exponentially just training hard, and a lot of people miss that. So, growing up, did you have any athletic or sports background or anything?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I played football in high school, and honestly, that's how what got me into training as a whole.
Mm,
But when it comes to like bodybuilding, I think I just caught the passion just from seeing like, you know, just like footage of like Olympias. Like I remember when I was in high school, I saw like, oh my God, like who's this guy? It was Jay Cutler, right? And I was like,
mm,
this looks like a pretty cool sport. And so I
yeah.
just, fell in love with training like, senior year of high school. I joined the Marine Corps when I was 18 years old, right out of high school. Um, I graduated boot camp at like 142 pounds soaking wet.
Wow.
Jesus.
Um,
Wait, how heavy are you now?
I weighed in this morning at 226.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
shit.
But yeah, no, graduated boot camp at like 142 pounds. And as soon as I hit my training pipeline at my MOS school, I was just like, I can't be small anymore. Like I was like, I hate, I don't want to be small anymore. So I just started, doing my own research, like just seeing like what I needed to do in order to grow. And I really found a passion just for training hard, like early on, just
Mm,
like the respect to have for it, and just how it makes me feel whenever I'm like actually pushing myself and stuff like that. Like I found it out, um, how great it is from 18 and a half, 19 years old and from now. So
yeah, man.
Not gonna lie, hands down, like I gotta give you your flowers. Besides all of the wins that you made, in this gym, there's just a small handful of guys, you amongst one of them, that train their asses off. It's
I
super
appreciate that.
inspirational
Thank you.
to see that still, and because I go to commercial gyms too, and they think they're training hard. I mean, there's a big difference as well too.
Absolutely. Yeah, there definitely is a huge difference. I mean, here's the thing. When you're competing in a sport like this, everything matters. Like your training intensity, how meticulous you are with your diet off season and in prep, obviously, right? Um, if you're like training hard and training as hard as you possibly can is just one of the boxes you have to check. If you're not training with that sort of intensity, like every single time you're walking in the gym, like you're letting somebody else you're going to be standing next to on stage get those reps and sets from you, right? And that's just sort of the way that I think about it. Um,
Yeah,
but
no.
yeah, like training intensity is like I pride myself on it. I think it's definitely, what's helped me grow, the past 3.5 years. And I'm not gonna lie, like I come in here, I see you guys, and I see, some of the other individuals in here that train really, really hard and inspired me too.
Mm,
Especially when I first came here, back in what, 2020, 2020, end of 2020,
Yeah.
and I was just inspired like right off the bat,
Yeah, because you definitely grew a lot, man.
Yeah,
You've definitely grown a lot, gotten bigger, gotten better every show, like pretty good. And then like Mo was saying, yeah, we see it. I see you training hard, and I mean, when I was, because even from my era, like '90s and early 2000s, like training intensity was a big thing.
of
For
course,
us was like you could see, who was coming in and who was putting it in there.
absolutely.
Putting in the work, right?
And you could see it on stage
And
too.
then and you knew like, oh, those guys put in the work, and then they show up to the show, and a lot of times those guys win. So
Absolutely,
it does pay off, yeah, for sure.
absolutely.
And by the way, thank you for your service. Do you attribute your military, like the discipline there, had taught you the discipline in the gym as well
Oh,
too?
100%. I think honestly, if it wasn't for the Marine Corps, I wouldn't be, as strict as I am with everything. Yeah, definitely
Mm.
having the Marine Corps in my life really built that foundation of discipline and making sure that I'm doing everything every single day in order to achieve what I want to achieve. Um, yeah, just like I mean, Jay can speak on it himself too. Like when you're and you as well,
Yeah.
when you're active duty, um, and you're just like working, the active duty life, everything is mapped out for you, scheduled. Like everything is completely scheduled every single day. You wake up, you're eating at a certain time every single day. Like you're going to work at a certain time, getting off at a certain time. You have PT in the morning, stuff like that. So it really built out that schedule for me and allowed me to sort of like, I guess, build my schedule to make it a bodybuilding lifestyle.
Yeah.
So it definitely really, really good question. And I
Yeah,
definitely think it
you're lucky
helps.
it worked out for you. I mean, because a lot of guys that are in the Marines, a lot of times they have a hard time being able to be consistent with like training because of whatever their MOS, their job, whatever.
100%.
Being
So
out
for
in the
you, I
field.
mean, it worked out,
Of
right?
course. Yeah.
The job that you're in, and
Yeah. 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 For sure. I definitely think my job
it
helps. Yeah.
aligns.
It aligns really, really well.
Yeah.
I mean, but honestly, like, man, when I was in 29 Palms on a training operation, like, I remember like being out there and meeting my macros with like fucking whey protein, tuna, rice cakes, like
Yep.
every single day for 2 months.
Yeah.
Like there's always a fucking way.
Hmm.
Like these people that come up with these excuses, like they're not seeing that like they can still do things to the best of their ability if they just put a little bit more fucking effort in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even just me being in the middle of the desert, like I still had a post exchange to go buy like whatever I needed in order to meet my calories, meet my
Yeah.
macros.
Yeah.
And we even had like a little small gym out there. It was super
Yeah.
tiny and honestly like it was a dog shit gym, but like it was still there.
Right.
Like I was still able to train hard. I was still able to do the things that I needed to in order to progress. Like
Yeah.
there's still ways to do things. Always,
Oh, for
always.
sure. Yeah. No, that's when I was in. I used to, dude. That's why I laugh when you said tuna fish. I do like tuna, rice cakes, like whey protein. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
I would get deployed for like 2-3 weeks, whatever short that we used to do a lot, and that's what I would have. I would have all that just bring with me because I don't know what I'm going to be able to eat out there.
That
absolutely.
was the first two things when we touched down to a place that we deployed at. Where's the food or chow hall at?
Yeah.
And commissary
Absolutely.
and the gym. Or how many gyms are there on base? Because usually,
Mhm.
there's like two different or three
Yeah.
different types of gym, right?
There's
That you
different
could find
ones,
there. So yeah, that was my priority. Fuck work. Where's the
and
gym? Where's the
I
food
Exactly.
think
at?
Exactly.
too. It's yeah, like it sucks, right? You're like, man, this is not what I wanted to be doing. I didn't want to be eating tuna fish out of a can, like, or whatever. But if you really want to keep progressing and you want this goal, right, you have to sacrifice it. Like, even though it sucks, I mean, it's like, yeah, this is horrible. I wish I was back at home cooking my meals, but hey, unfortunately, like, you got to do whatever you have to do, right?
I think when it comes to bodybuilding though, like year round, like you sort of sacrifice like the taste of food anyway, so it's
Yeah.
like whatever. Um, like I don't, you know what I mean? Like a taste
You're
of food
just
doesn't
like, yep,
matter.
screw it. Yeah,
Exactly, it doesn't
whatever
matter.
I got to put in the meal. This is my meal. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
have you
Yeah.
been put in a situation out in the field or on a deployment where there was no gym and the only thing you kind of had was like MREs or whatever they would cook at the hot mess?
So before I started training seriously, well, I wouldn't say that honestly. Ever since I joined the Marine Corps, I've been pretty serious about everything. Man, when I was in Yuma, Arizona, I remember one time, or it was a field op that we were on. It was only like a 3-night field op. Um, I always made sure that I had my shit with me. Like I wasn't gonna like go to the field like unprepared. Like I made sure that I had everything on me.
Mm,
And we brought out a 7-ton with us, a truck, one of the big trucks that we have in the Marine Corps. and there's these hooks on the side of the truck, and I remember doing like inverse rows on them and stuff like that. Like I
Oh,
have videos of
jeez.
this. I have
Like a
videos of
heavy
this.
bag
Yeah,
on and just,
exactly. Yeah,
oh
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Like that exact situation. I have videos of this like on my TikTok, like way further down, like back in 2020.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, like just as long as like I've been in the Marine Corps, like I've always found a way to just like get it done, you know?
Yeah.
Even though it might not be the most like optimal situation, like it's still like I have to have this
Right.
or else like if I get off track, like it's like a mental thing if I'm off track, you know?
Hmm.
So like yeah, no, even in that situation, like I still
You
found a
can do a
way.
lot of maintenance with the heavy pack and, body weight squats, lunges, pull-ups,
Sure, yeah, sure.
push-ups
Yeah.
and stuff like that while
Yeah.
you're out in the field.
Yeah, I think even, even being in those situations though, like at least my nutrition had to be completely
Hmm.
set, right? Like it's just that. And if I just had that, then I'd be okay, you know? Because if I'm on a field op where we're doing like, two 5K hikes a day,
Oh,
like
yeah,
going from
Jeez.
there you
place
go,
to place,
cardio.
it's like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, like that sucks, right? Like I'm not gonna be able to train like as hard as I, want to. And
Right.
like and then everybody kind of looks at you like an idiot, like when you're training in the field.
They're
But
like, what is he doing?
they're like,
Why
what
is
is
we
this guy
just did
doing?
all this and he's
Exactly.
still working out? Yeah.
But just as long as I had like what I needed to as far as like food goes,
Hmm.
like I was okay. And I've always done that, you know? So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, that's smart. That's how I always started with nutrition first,
of course.
That's the
Yeah,
first thing, get that good, and then everything else can follow that. But
100%.
you got to have your meals, everything ready.
Have to.
Yep. Smart. Right on. So you're moving to Georgia, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, I see you got the Madhouse gym shirt
Yeah,
on.
yeah, incredible gym. Yeah, moving to Atlanta. I'll be recruiting out of there, Marine Corps recruiter,
Mm,
um, for the next 3 years.
yeah.
I think we're looking to settle there. And then I should be starting prep for the Lee Haney games,
Hmm.
in early August. So it'll be about a 20-week prep for me, um, making sure that I have,
Wow.
all the time in the world in order to get in shape. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that show. It's a really cool show, actually.
Yeah.
I think Bob Chicarella does like the emceeing
Okay.
for it and stuff too, which is
Oh,
cool. And
really?
yeah, they have like a live stream and they have like a play-by-play commentary with it too, like on the
Hmm.
live stream. It's a pretty cool show. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'll
Super cool.
start prep for that in August and maybe have like a little cleanup phase before then. So
Oh, yeah, man.
yeah,
So you,
And
you do these seasons, like an off season, are you still on a specific amount of numbers of food, and
absolutely. Yeah.
workout? Yeah, I see it so frequently here that people think off season, they're just off and they don't have an objective, like how they always say, aim at nothing, you're going to hit it too.
Oh man.
So I'm glad to hear that you say, I mean, even in an off season, you have goals that you're trying to meet as well too, growing into the next season.
Yeah, yeah, I'm definitely glad you brought that up. Yeah, the thing is like if you want to be good at this sport, like there is no off season, Like you're like all the off season is just prep with more food,
Game season.
That's all
Yeah.
exactly. It's just growing season, right? Like you should never be coming off a plan, like you should never be coming off of like knowing what your numbers are for your food and stuff like that. Like I think that's still super important. Like if you want to really get the most out of your off season, in my opinion, you need to be able to quantify like everything that you're putting in your body. And if
hmm.
you're not, then it's just like, what are you doing? Like
Hmm.
and then you're going to step on stage looking the exact same as you did last year,
Yes.
placing third again. Like,
Yeah.
who the fuck wants
Sixth.
that? Sixth.
Yeah. So what type of training do you do normally? Like what do like what's your style of training, man?
um, man, it's kind of weird to like say like a style. Like
That's just the word I use, but everybody has maybe a type of training, whether
Pro
they're
split,
oh
cycling,
yeah, for sure,
whatever it
for
might
they're
sure.
be,
trained,
and
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
or
yeah. I
they
think
go powerlifting style, and then they, heavy bodybuilding or lighter weight,
mm,
tons of reps squeezing, like what would be your thing?
so.
High volume.
I do. So yeah, that's a really good question. I think so what I do is like I do as much volume as I can possibly handle. So what I'll do is I could even pull up my numbers right now on like the amount of working sets that I have per body part over like the week. And so what I'll do is I'll play around with it and I'll say like, okay, like I did, 12 working sets of quads this week and I'm fucking buried, like that's as much as I can handle. Like if I try to do 13, then it's like it's going to hinder my training performance for that next.
And your recovery.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
recovery for that next training session. But I really play like how I really gauge how I play with my volume based on my training performance. So
Mm,
it's like if I do 13 working sets of quads on Wednesday and I come in here on Saturday and I need to train hamstrings and glutes, and my hamstring and glute training is suffering because of like I buried myself on Wednesday, then I need to sort of titrate my quad volume a little bit more down and make sure that when I come in here on Saturday, I'm able to nail my hamstrings and glutes. So,
Mhm.
and it's the same for every single other body part. I do have a little bit more frequency on some other body parts like arms, shoulders, right? Because they can handle a lot of volume. But yeah, no, mainly just like when I'm aiming for a working set, it's obviously, maximum intensity. Um, just as I'm just burying myself. But
Basically, so your heavy sets, your working sets, you're just going for failure, maximum intensity. That's how
every
you're
other
doing it.
every working set is failure maximum intensity. Like that's just honestly how I
Yeah.
think
I
my training should be
honestly
gauged.
think, to be honest with you, a lot of people are missing that mark because they're doing the whole like, oh, coach said 10 reps, or oh, reps in reserve, and you're completely missing your upper threshold of where you're actually going to begin to make your gains. So
Exactly.
good point that you bring up.
I
People
think
misjudge. They'll think they left 2 in the tank when they left 4 because they don't know what it's like to go all the way to where they cannot go and then try to push
Yeah.
past that.
for sure, yeah, I wouldn't ever. I mean, like even for like the most advanced individual, like I'm not going to give somebody like, hey, make sure you do 2 reps in reserve on this
Yeah.
set, okay? Like,
Yeah.
no, like that's stupid. Like if
Mhm.
get the most out, like if you have 3 sets and you're burying yourself in every single set and you think it's a little too much, then okay, then pull it back to 2 sets instead
Yeah.
of three, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Don't make that third set with reps in reserve. Like get the most that you can out of the sets that you're utilizing, you know? And if that
Mhm.
causes you to bring down your volume a little bit, then do so, you know?
Or like half-ass your last set.
Oh yeah.
Because yeah.
That's essentially what I was saying, right? Like
hmm
leaving reps in reserve
Yeah.
on that last set. Like you
Yeah.
no, like do 2 working sets and fucking bury yourself, you know?
I mean, if you guys want some idea of what he works out, what his training looks like, and his level of intensity, you can check out his Instagram. He fucking kicks ass on that.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. So your training split, like how often are you training body parts and everything?
Yeah, so I'm basically doing like pull push legs.
Mm.
Um pull push legs, rest, and then I'll do like sort of like an auxiliary like shoulder and arm day on Friday just to make sure that I'm getting like enough volume for my shoulders and arms on that day. And
Mm.
then Saturday will be like a glute and hamstring bias day just because I need to bring in my glutes and hams.
Mm.
Um, but like even on that leg day that I have middle of the week, I still have glute and hamstring volume in there too.
Okay.
Just because like that's like my main focus right now is like really bringing up those glutes and hams and my legs overall. Like I just you like honestly like you can't beat like the whole method of frequency when it comes to bringing up body parts
Yeah.
and just like making sure that like I said earlier, like the max amount of volume that you need to grow is like in there, you know?
Hmm.
People are so afraid of overtraining.
Yeah, I mean, it's under recovering, right?
It,
Sure.
very
It's not
good.
so
Yeah.
much
Very good
overtraining,
point.
it's
Yeah.
under recovering.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
I think a lot of people are scared of it. And some of the people that are scared of it are the ones that are, utilizing PEDs. They're eating a ton of food. They're doing all these things that are like, supposed to help you recover quicker. And it's
yeah.
like, what are you scared of overtraining for? You know?
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Like you're on a, gram and a half of gear and you're like, what?
You're doing all this stuff, like you should be
Exactly.
good, dude. Yeah.
Exactly. Like you should be fine, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, maybe I don't know. Maybe is that like a way to like top out? Be like,
100%
oh,
it is.
overtrain because they know they just don't want to train that
Absolutely. No, I will
hard.
sit here and make fun of anybody who uses reps in reserve all day long.
Yeah.
It's just like, just come on, man. Like,
So, do you like to do drop sets, burnout, stuff like
yeah,
that?
yeah,
You
I
do
do. I
those?
still do. Some actually, my favorite intensifier is probably the rest pause. When
Okay.
it's just like any other like intensifier, like a
Hmm.
drop set, right? You're just elongating a set. So, for instance, I use a lot of rest pauses on my on quad extensions and
Mm.
my lateral raises. And so all it is just like it should be for me, it's that last set of that movement where I'm doing a failure set and then I'll take a 15 breath break. So I'll take 15 deep breaths,
Mhm.
get back into another set till failure, and then I'll take another 15 deep breaths, and then I'll get back into another set of failure. And you're just basically just doing one ginormous set of just like 3 failure sets.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely my favorite intensifier.
that
I
was
like drop
good.
sets still too. I do a
Yeah.
couple drop sets for my arms.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, for the most part, I just like the rest pause because you're not changing the load,
hmm
and
Yeah.
also you're using the same load like the entire time. You're not
Yeah.
dropping the load at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I like it a lot.
Yeah, that one's
Take
good.
notes, kids. For those of you guys who are complaining that you guys are doing too much, apparently, you guys ain't got shit on this guy. And
That one's good, man. I like that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've done workout plans for people and like they opposed it. They're like, "Oh, this is too much." I mean, I showed somebody and they're like, "Yeah, that's excessive." I'm like, "Fuck, you're on more than a gram of gear." Sounding like a pussy, like,
Yeah.
honestly.
When I'm so whenever I've written training splits out for people, um, I'll put this in like the directions like below the training split. I'll say like, so for instance, if I'm giving somebody a movement like, hey, you're gonna do 3 sets of 12 to 15 for hack squats, right? And I'll say within that you're supposed to fail within that 12 to
Mm-hmm.
15 reps, right? Like, and I'll put that in the directions below so that they know how to gauge their intensity. They know how to gauge the load that they're using whenever they're supposed to be, executing that set.
Hmm.
Um, so you should be picking a load that you're failing within 12 to 15 reps with, right? So that's, and once I clarify that, they're like, oh, okay, and then they actually start to get on it, and it works,
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So. But yeah. For the most part, it's like, yeah, people will be like, oh, this is too much. This is too much. And then it's like, well, okay, let's just see how much volume you can handle. So if I give somebody like a training split initially, I'll have them try it out for a week. And then I'll be like, all right, man, like, what can you handle more of? And what do we need to bring back on? Um, and usually with this individual, I'll train with them first just to make sure that they're not, leaving anything in the tank, making sure that their execution and technique looks good and stuff like
Hmm.
that. And then we'll gauge it after that.
Smart. Yeah, I
Or be
like
like
that.
Jed's, some of Jed, yeah, like you've said, like they'll bitch out and complain. I'm like,
Oh, I threatened
this
to kick a
too
guy out of here one
heavy.
time because he kept stopping before it stopped burning. And I said, "You
Oh,
fucking do that one more time, I'm kicking. You're leaving. You're not coming back."
Or they're just complaining that it's heavy so they just can rack it and get it done and
Was
over
it your
with.
Yeah.
first time training with him?
It was like the second or third time
Oh
he had
man.
done
Okay,
that.
that makes sense then.
Yeah.
If it was the first time, I'd be like, all right, man, like we gotta, push the envelope a little bit more here,
I
But like,
explained to him. He's like, "Well, it burns." I'm like, "That's when it starts. That's where you start adapting and
Counting.
changing it. When
exactly.
it burns." There, I explained to people there's a switch you got to flip. Like initially, when you feel that pain, you think, "Okay, I need to stop." But at some point, you got to flip the switch because, okay, now I need to go harder because this is where I start changing. It's
Of
past this
course.
point. You had people have to. It's something you have to teach some people. They don't instinctively have that.
So obviously, this individual is probably not a, competitive bodybuilder by any
No.
means,
right.
right? So like, when it comes to those people, it's like, yeah, you sort of have to like sugarcoat it to them or like maybe like cater it to them, and then they build on it though. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they have to build on it because they're
Yeah.
not gonna like come, straight out of the gates training hard as shit.
No, they're
Like they're
not.
they're not. But yeah, no, I definitely see what you mean.
Jed's been he's gotten better at that, but
No, I
he
I
would
think it's a
he
great
would
thing to
people
do.
would leave and be like, "Well, what's up?" Like because I think in Jed's mind a lot of times it was just like you need to be intensity over here, and some people are just like, I just want to go to the gym and do some
Exercise.
stuff, like literally that's their thought
For
process.
sure. And I think a lot of these people, like, they don't realize that like when they're in here, like giving 80% or
Yeah,
70%, right?
yeah,
They're wasting their time mostly, right? Like if you're coming in here, like don't waste your fucking time. Like come in here, train as hard as you can for, 60 to
yeah,
90 minutes
right,
and get what you need out of it and then go home.
yeah,
You'll
yeah,
feel
yeah,
better about yourself if you
yeah,
Exactly,
do.
exactly. It's just like anything else, right? Like you do anything with the same intensity that you do in here, you're gonna be good at it, right? So
yeah,
it's
Yeah.
like don't
yeah,
fucking waste your time.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's it. That makes sense. So, what's your deal with like recovery, and sleep and all that stuff? Like, how do you approach all that stuff?
So I do track my sleep pretty closely. Um, so I think the big thing is like making sure that whatever sleep you're getting is quality.
Mm.
Like duration, it definitely does matter in my opinion, but whatever you're doing, like whatever your sleep duration is, it needs to be quality because if you have 7 hours, 8 hours of shitty sleep, like are you
Hmm.
really getting anything out of that? And if you're not making
Mm.
sure that that sleep is quality, like you're going to be leaving gains on the table, you're going to be leaving, quality of life on the table. Like there's a lot of
Yeah,
things that can be mentioned about duration, and you should be making sure that you're meeting your duration, like of 8 hours,
yeah.
right, which or whatever. But that quality, being in REM, being in deep sleep, is super important. And if you're not, in REM majority of your
Hmm.
night, then you're not really getting much out of it.
So, out of curiosity, you're talking about the quality of sleep. Do you use any type of sleep aid like melatonin, L-theanine, inositol, or valerian root, or any of that to help like kind of get you into that sleep stage?
So I only use okay. So with melatonin, it's more of like it's definitely like an aid, right? Like it makes you drowsy. The only problem I have with that personally is I wake up the next morning drowsy, right? And then
Mm.
like I either miss my alarm because I'm so fucking drowsy, and then it's just harder to get up in the morning, go do my cardio and stuff like that. But I do use, magnesium citrate. I take a little bit of that
Mm,
before bed. I use 2 milligrams of vitamin C before I go to bed because it's known to help calm the adrenals. Um, and that's really it. Like honestly, like if the less stuff that I use for my sleep, the better. And here's the thing: like when I'm in the off season, I'm satiated before I go to bed. The thing that messes with my sleep the most is when I'm hungry.
Mm.
Like that
yeah.
hunger, like ghrelin keeping you up. I know, it's probably not foreign to you guys waking up in the middle of the night hungry as hell,
Oh
right?
yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I think honestly, like right now in the off season, like I don't need much. Like I'll have enough like, magnesium citrate and or, vitamin C to make sure that I'm, getting what I need out of my sleep. When it comes to a contest prep though, like the tail end of it, I've done some like I don't want to say dumb things, but like man, like it started getting like really bad for me. Where I was like basically just like slugging NyQuil to try to get to sleep
Oh,
Oh
sometimes.
geez.
jeez.
Definitely
Yeah.
not good. And like I would try like other things
Mm,
too, um, like upping my dose of melatonin and or using other things as well. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't getting me to sleep because
Mm-hmm.
that's the issue for me is getting to sleep.
Yep.
I would wake up sometimes in the middle of the night if I would fall asleep perchance, but like yeah, NyQuil knocks you the fuck out.
And so
oh yeah,
So.
it
Yeah.
does.
being a new father, for the most part, your wife would take care of your son and allow you to sleep through the night so you can get a good night's
Yeah,
rest.
no, definitely my wife is the MVP when it comes to that.
Yay.
I do, yeah. So like it's his wake windows are weird right now. Yeah, for a couple months though, he was sleeping through the night, but now he's waking up hungry. She does obviously she's the only one that can feed him. So I can't get up and feed him. And that's what he wakes up for because he's hungry. But yeah, for the most part, it's like she's waking up to do it. But yeah,
Are you big into like naps and stuff? A lot
I
of
think
people
I
are
think
nappers.
if you have time to take naps, I think they're
Yeah.
great for sure. Yeah, 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 yeah. But yeah, no, naps are good. I think they can definitely, be of use
Mm.
from a bodybuilding standpoint.
Oh, and I gotta ask this. So are you a big pre-workout guy, man? Like you need the pre-workout?
Um,
Like what's up
s-
with that?
honestly, in the off season, no. Like when I'm my food's high, I'm feeling good. I don't need like super stimmy pre-workouts in order
Mm,
to like, um to
get in
really
there and
get
hit it.
myself in here.
Yeah.
When I'm at the tail end of a contest prep though, energy's low, for sure caffeine helps, for
Yeah.
sure, without a doubt.
Mm,
And some of the other stimulants, but for the most part, when food's high, I'm feeling good. Like all I really need to do is just get in here and train. Like I don't really need like a,
there you go.
crazy
Yeah.
amount of stimulant in order to, and for the most part, like if I'm taking anything to help me, facilitate a pump, give me energy during a workout, I'm drinking 2 to 4 scoops of carbolin with EAAs,
Yeah.
and some sort of hydration agent as well. And so I like Glycogen by Evogen because it
Yeah.
has like a shitload of citrulline in it, and it helps me facilitate a pump for my entire workout.
Hmm.
So definitely shout out to Evogen for that. Their intracarb is incredible.
That's good.
Yeah, and so the carb that they use in it is carbolin as well. So yeah, it's definitely really really good intra workout. But yeah, for the most part, it's like only use pre-workout if you need it, right? Because if you build up a caffeine dependency in the off season when you're feeling good, what's going to happen when you get into a contest prep and food's low, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just be mindful of that.
No, that's great because I mean, we were talking about this before, but a lot of people are just so dependent on pre-workout all year round,
I feel like it's become like almost a culture thing. Like some of these like
That's what
kids,
you're saying.
yeah, some of these like 19-year-old kids are like, yeah, bro, I just took 600 milligrams of caffeine. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so cool. Like,
Yeah,
no,
they're
bro, that's not
bragging.
fucking
Yeah, I
cool.
know. I'm like, come in here and train. Don't take nothing and just hit it hard, dude. Like,
Exactly.
what's the problem, bro?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like use pre-workout if you need it, but if
exactly.
you don't, just like do other things to help you facilitate like training performance.
Hmm.
Like using your intracarbs, right?
Yeah.
Or, having some sort of hydration complex in your drink that you have while you're training. I think that's
Yeah.
definitely the best thing that you can do.
A lot of people miss that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Being hydrated enough makes a big difference on how you feel through your workouts as well too.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Because just
definitely.
what, well, a lot of people think that water is enough, right? And
Uh,
then missing on the sodium
Sodium,
intake and everything else.
Absolutely.
potassium.
A
Yeah.
lot of people think, oh, I'm just drinking gallons of water, but
Sodium is your
only
friend.
water. Yep.
Sodium is definitely your friend when it comes to that.
And I think that's a big thing with, people that aren't really competitive bodybuilders, but just the average Joe. They think, oh, I eat a low sodium diet. My sodium, they have this thing, and I don't know where a lot of people got this from, but they have this belief that sodium is bad. You
So
know?
here's the thing. The majority of people that think that sodium is bad are already overweight, right? So they
Yeah.
think that what they're holding on to is water weight, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
correct.
When reality, it's just body fat, right? So it's like they're like, oh yeah, I eat a low sodium diet and this is going to help me lose weight. Like, but here, like you're not going to be losing water. Like that's
Fat.
just bad.
Yeah.
It's not good. You're not losing fat from that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Debunk this as well too. So like people who are or overweight or obese, are they big boned?
Are they big bone?
I mean, no, definitely not.
Do they have a metabolism issue?
Are their bone
No,
structures
no,
different
and
Is
from
it they
a
man,
have a
normal
bad
person?
metabolism?
there's studies that just came out about that.
Yeah.
Like, so it was found that like as you get older, your metabolism isn't necessarily like declining as much as you think it is. It's just
Lack of activity.
lack of activity. Exactly, lack of activity and lifestyle choices,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So as you get older, obviously, like those lifestyle choices and that lack of activity is getting put to the side because of other priorities in your life.
Mhm.
So, and I can show anybody the study that was just done on that. But it's like, your metabolism isn't slowing down because you just turned 35. It's not. I promise you, it's
It
not.
doesn't just
No, it
go
doesn't. It
downhill.
definitely, it definitely doesn't go like that immediately. It definitely doesn't.
Right.
It'll go like this, like very, very slow trickling effect. But for the most part, it's like, no, you can still get lean if you're
Yeah.
35 or 40 years old.
Yeah.
That's like not your
Totally.
metabolism. It's not your metabolism.
Yep. Yeah, because we've talked about this stuff, and it's like you said, activity, man. Like a lot of people are just they're not doing anything, they're not
Exactly.
even
They need the
moving.
closest parking stall to the
Oh
store.
yeah.
They don't want to
Even
park
that,
far.
right? Even that.
Fucking
Like, I don't want to walk an extra 50 feet, like, okay. Like, yeah,
Just go get a dog. If you get a
get a
dog,
dog.
you're gonna have to walk it every day, right?
Yeah. You have a
So
dog, right?
I do have a dog. I have a
Yeah.
very, very pretty black Labrador. Her name's Georgia.
Hmm.
She keeps me active. I definitely use her for my steps.
Oh,
I
nice.
do. Yeah.
and
Nice.
what a lot of people don't understand with this whole just moving, your non-exercise is a lot more important, like as far as fat burning, and than what you do inside of the gym. I mean, you guys can challenge me if you want, but you're only here for about an hour, hour and a half. But what you do throughout the rest of the day will determine, like, getting your steps in. Are you moving enough to continuously burn whatever the fuck you need to burn off your body?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think counting your steps is a very useful tool to use. It's something that I do for sure. In the off season and in contest prep.
So, do you do cardio in the off season? Like,
100%.
yeah. So, what do you do?
Absolutely. So I still do like intense ass cardio in the off season.
Really?
Yeah. I do like I only do like 5 sessions a week at 20 minutes, but I'm on the Stairmaster like burying myself, you know. It doesn't really I what I do with my cardio is I sort of I dictate it based on like how my recovery is for my legs, right? So it's like I'll go ham on the Stairmaster, 5 sessions a week, 20 minutes, for heart health, right? For appetite
Hmm.
mostly, because when you're putting down 5 to 6,000 calories, you need to
You
fucking
need the
move.
appetite.
Yeah.
Right? You can't be a couch potato, or else you're gonna have appetite issues, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Digestion, just like overall
Yeah.
wellness, right? Like you need it, and it just keep you a little more tighter in the off season. I definitely think that cardio in the off season is necessary.
Hmm.
Especially, like when you're getting up there in weight, blood pressure is getting up there, stuff like that. Like we have to make sure that your heart health is good too. So cardio is, in my opinion, very essential in the off season. Very.
Good point.
Yeah.
And you see it a lot as well too. People think cardio, oh, coach said 30 minutes and they're just cruising,
Oh, I
just
love it.
fucking
I love
walking
it.
apart.
No, that's definitely something that I give a lot of discretion to.
Heart rate, it's about that. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
yeah,
continue.
yeah, yeah. I give a lot of discretion whenever I prescribe cardio. That like you should be doing it with intent,
Yes.
right? Like making sure that whatever you're doing, like you're sweating a little bit, right? Your heart rate's getting up there. And sometimes I'll even give people like intensity thresholds. So for instance, like if I'm prescribing you 20 minutes of cardio, I'm making sure that like I'm also giving you a calories burned amount
Yeah.
too. So you're going to
Yep.
be doing 20 minutes of cardio and burning at least 250 calories,
I
Hmm.
right?
do
That way
that
you're
as well
gauging,
too.
yeah,
And then like heart rate zone and how long you
absolutely.
maintain it.
Yeah.
And people think I'm fucking psycho for doing this, but whatever's. Hey, I'm not the
Well, I
only
think it's
one.
important because then it gives them a gauge, right?
Yep,
'Cause if
it
you just say
does.
20 minutes, everyone's
That's
different. Maybe one
exactly.
guy might be like, dude, I killed it. I did 400 calories. Like, whoa. And
And
then the other
somebody
guy's
did
like, oh, I
a walk
burned
in the park.
100.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you're just all over the place. You need
Very
to
important.
have it
Mm-hmm.
So where everyone understands, hey, this is our parameters right here.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's very important to make sure that like, whoever you're prescribing the cardio to understands that like you're supposed to be doing with intent, you're supposed to be getting something out of it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like if you're just, walking on a treadmill, neutral, no incline, that you're not going to be getting much out of it.
Right.
You're wasting time.
You're wasting time. And honestly, in that point, like I could just give you a step count to reach for the day and an amount of cardio
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
because you could have that high intensity mixed in with, overall activity for the day as well. And I think that's
Hmm.
honestly pretty beneficial too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's how I definitely see cardio as being.
Yeah, because well, going on the other side of that, like there's people that are like, oh, I want to run, like I've had some competitors, and they're like, yeah, I want to run. I like running, and they're big on running. And I'm like, I'm not big on running when you're trying to compete bodybuilding.
Exactly, 100%.
And a lot of them are like, well, I love running though. They feel like they're not getting a whole lot when they're doing the walking, incline walking, like, I want to run. So your thoughts on running. Now you're in the Marine Corps. I know you guys run, but what are your thoughts on running for
So
bodybuilding?
fortunately, I have been blessed with not having to run very much. I tell everyone I run 3 miles a year for my PFT, and that is fucking
That's
it.
great.
But no, if you were to, okay, so like whatever you track your calories burned on, like for your cardio sessions, track it on a 20 to 30 minute run and see how many calories you're actually burning doing it because it's not as much as you think. And with running that crazy high impact cardio, you're just beating the shit out of your legs at
Mhm.
that point. Um, and you're going to be getting way more out of like, or more or just as much from running as you are, going ham on the elliptical, ham on the Stairmaster. Um, just do it and see what happens. Like if you're an individual that likes to run, um, I challenge you to go for a 20 to 30 minute run at what a moderate intensity would be for you. And then go do a Stairmaster at, level 12 to 14 and tell me how many calories you burn on doing both of those.
Mhm.
You'll see very quickly that you're going to be burning more calories on the Stairmaster or the elliptical if you're actually like, doing it with intent. Like I said,
Mhm.
you're going to be, getting a little bit more for what you're putting into it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when it comes to running, man, like fuck, even being, an open bodybuilder, obviously, like, no, running is not going to be for you at all. Like
Yeah.
you got to save your fucking shins, save your, your leg training. Just don't run.
Yes, I agree.
Well, for as I know, I have a individual that used to be a track runner. So, he's built up his endurance via track, accustomed to that. And it took a little while for me to break him from like wanting to run and then exerting that energy via elliptical instead.
Yeah, of course. But here's the thing: if you're coaching somebody, right, that client like needs to be doing what you tell them to. Like they
Yeah.
should be, right? Like if you're telling your client, no, you're not going to run, you're going to go do the elliptical or the stairmaster, and because I'm telling you to do that, right? Then they go against what you say, then like what the fuck,
Yeah.
They
And
shouldn't be
then,
doing that.
even in
Yeah,
during
that's
contest
true.
prep, what they don't understand, your body is actually a little fragile. Your joints, your everything,
Oh
your
yeah, oh
recovery.
yeah,
Huh.
I mean, you really don't want to run because
no,
you might pull something or hurt yourself a little bit more severely than just a little slight pull.
exactly. Yeah, and
Hmm.
people don't realize that too. It's just like, oh, but it's just a jog, and it's like, but like, go on a jog the day before, like a massive quad day, and just like see what happens. Like you don't want to screw yourself over. You don't.
For
Like I
sure.
shit in 2023 when I was prepping for the Stingray, I had trained hamstrings, and then I had to PT with my platoon that morning after, and I fucking tore my hamstring. Being 12 weeks out
Oh,
because
really?
I was sprinting, and like on the
Oh,
tail end of a sprint, I like put my foot down and I tore my fucking hammy. And it was
Oh,
like, yeah, so it's like, there you go. Fuck running. No more running,
yeah.
please.
Yeah. See? Right. Totally. That's it. Yeah. I've never been big into it
No.
for bodybuilding. So, yep. And like you said, there's a lot of different options out there. Um,
yeah. So high impact for bodybuilding, especially during your low low weeks of your contest prep. I don't recommend it.
No.
Absolutely not.
No,
Also,
no, no.
the running gets your body more efficient at utilizing energy. So if you run a lot and you get super cardiovascularly fit, some people would argue that it's actually harder to burn body fat
Yes.
because your body can run off of less energy because it's the cardio goes up.
your cardio, heart
Yeah.
rate, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
endurance.
I mean, yeah, when it comes to running too, like you're moving your own body weight at the end of the day. So yeah, you do become a lot more efficient in any aspect when it comes to moving your own body weight, just like you
Yeah.
would in calisthenics, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, in the context of competitive bodybuilding, like, yeah, just
It
it's
just
it's
doesn't fit in.
But and so here's the thing, I've actually heard a couple of coaches in the past, I forgot who honestly, say that they've actually had their clients go run because they needed to bring the balance between their upper body and their lower body back into check because they're lower body dominant, and that they thought that, if they were running more often, that it would actually, even out the balance between
Yeah.
symmetry of top to bottom.
Interesting.
So I forgot who said that. It was a good coach, but man, I forgot who.
I think I mean, I see females running more than
Yeah,
males
yeah,
in
yeah,
fitness, you know. You do
yeah,
see
yeah,
that
yeah.
because they're like a lot of times, well, my legs, I have a hard time losing fat in my legs, and so they think that they need to be running, you know, to do that to get rid of the fat in the legs.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I do see females doing it
So
more.
do you think that's a wrong approach for females to be running more because they feel like they need to lose that
Yeah,
extra
me
I
lower
think it
half?
personally,
is
yeah,
100%
yeah,
because obviously,
I
like,
do
Good
too.
answer.
we can't spot reduce fat at the end
Yeah,
of the
Thank
day.
you. Good
So it's
answer.
like you have to understand the science behind it too, right? Like you can't just be like, I'm running because I want to get leaner legs, and it's like that doesn't really make sense. And like you got to be able to educate that individual too. Like you can't spot reduce fat because like I have people that come to me all the time and they're like, I want to lose, the fat in my lower back and my stomach and right here, right here, right here, right.
yeah,
And they're like, you have to tell them like, hey, like it's not possible to spot reduce fat. You're going to be losing fat from where your body tells you to lose fat from,
Yeah.
yeah.
right? So yeah, that's
That's funny. Yeah, I know that's a lot of people believe that.
I do have a good question though for all of you guys as well too. So somebody with back problems like me, and they can't do high impact things.
Mm.
They can't even like jog. I'm not supposed to. Um, so how do you guys feel about these athletes having like a heart rate monitor and doing lap swimming
Is
for
that for
cardio?
fat loss
Well,
or
yeah, I mean it's going to target fat loss, but for a means of
Mm.
cardio and some
I,
means
you
of
know, I've never been
caloric
a
expenditure.
oh, you definitely burn some calories. I'm not I'm not big on swimming for fat loss, but then again, that's part of it's just because it's not something that I really did, you know.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Um,
I think when it comes to you have to sort of be a little bit more like I need more context behind that, right? Obviously, because if you're just an endurance athlete and you want to do your cardio in the form of swimming, I think it's cool. Like I don't see anything wrong with it, but when you're just like I said earlier, because swimming is going to be, taxing not only on just the legs, but it's going to be taxing the entire body, right? So when you're trying to gauge like, that recovery aspect, if you were actually training hard in the gym, swimming could definitely, not be as good for recovery for the entire body, in my opinion. I
But
think.
a lot easier on your
Oh,
joints.
it can be. Yeah, for sure it is. For sure it is. It can be easier on your joints.
it's a lot. There's a lot of work involved, though. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're doing laps, yeah,
I think if you're having an issue with high impact cardio, really like the simple answer for me personally is the elliptical because you're not slamming your feet on the deck. You're not, doing things that are going to mess up the joints, right? Um, and it's honestly the most, like soft machine that you can use, and you can still push yourself in the elliptical. You can. But yeah, when it comes to swimming, I mean, shit, who do we see? Nick Walker. Nick Walker did it for his prep for the New York Pro last
oh, you
year.
did.
Yeah, he was doing like a couple of sessions of swimming a week, I guess. And
Didn't know that.
I mean, hey, shit, he's one of the best open bodybuilders in the world, and he was swimming for his cardio. So I mean,
There you go.
and at the end of the day, too, you got to realize that it's whatever works for you the most, right? Like,
Yeah.
don't take something as gospel when something else has worked better for you, right?
hmm
So I think that's honestly, an aspect that you can apply to in
Mm-hmm.
anything when it comes to the sport is do what works best for you. If barbell
Yeah.
rows work best for you and you're back training, then fucking do barbell rows. You know what I mean? Like anything.
Yeah, because I've seen some people do kind of like interesting, like they're supposed to be competitors, right? Whether it's bikini or figure or bodybuilding, even more, I'd say more bikini though. And you see it on Instagram and stuff. They'll do kind of like bodybuilding workouts, right? They'll do, you know, single body part training sessions, but then they'll also throw in this functional fitness stuff, you know, like let's do
Yeah, yeah,
ball slams
yeah.
and then jump squats and then, you know, in their workout. And these are like bikini girls, right? So what's your thoughts on that, on mixing the into these type of workouts
So
for bikini
I
girls?
definitely have a couple of really good points to bring up about this.
Yeah.
So it does not matter what division you're in. If you were in the gym here training,
Yeah.
your main goal is to build muscle tissue. Okay. You're leave the burning calories for your fucking cardio. Okay. Come in here, make stimulus to the muscle, right? And then go do your cardio when you're supposed to do your cardio, right? Like, yes,
Yeah.
obviously you're going to be burning calories when you train. But the thing is like you want to be able to get the most actual building tissue as you can when you're in here training.
Yes.
I think, you know, when it comes to like these like functional workouts, but hey, if that's a part of your cardio, then, you know, so be it.
Yeah.
But these like medicine ball slams, stuff like that, like how much are you really getting out of this?
Mhm.
Like, are you, and what are you trying to get out of this? Because if you're trying to get, you know, stimulus to the muscle and actually building tissue out of medicine ball slams and stuff like that, then it's like,
Yeah.
you're not doing, you know, the best movements that you could be doing. Because if you're trying to build glutes and lats doing medicine ball slams, you could be doing an extra set of gnarly hip thrusts or like, you know, like split squats or, you know, a lat pull down that's actually going to fucking destroy your lats and your
So
glutes.
what you're trying to say is if you have enough energy to do medicine ball
Yeah.
slams after your workout, then your workout was not hard
Well,
enough.
100%. Sure.
some people will do it as part of the workout. Like they'll go in, and I've seen people do it. They do say legs, right? And they'll do their legs, they'll do all their stuff. And then it's in that hour of their workout. They're like, okay, now I'm gonna go do these medicine ball slams and then some crunches, some ab lifts, leg lift crunches. And then, like, and you're looking at it like, wait, okay, so this is part of your, not your cardio really. This is part of your workout.
So
Exactly.
if it's part of their fitness goal, by all means, knock yourself
But
out and do
if
what
they're
you
Yes.
got to
competing,
do.
Yes.
the thing
That
is that
too.
blows my mind is they're bikini competitors or they're figure competitors, and I'm going, what do you, you're doing that
God
as
damn,
part
Mark, are
of
you
your
talking about my
workout?
clients?
No, like,
No, I'm not talking about your clients, but no, I mean, no,
Uh,
there's people in here who do it, and there's people on Instagram that I've seen do it. It's not just
no,
over
I
here,
see it. I see
but
it too.
I always am, and I'm honestly the same thought as you, dude. I'm like, okay, when I'm coming in to work out, I'm lifting weights. So in the mindset of I'm breaking down muscle tissue so I can build. That's my thought process. And then cardio is cardio. That's a separate thing that I'm gonna do to burn calories, to burn fat, whatever, get the heart rate up. That's separate.
yep.
If I'm bodybuilding, right? If you're not bodybuilding, fine. I mean, do whatever you want. Like go run around, go do a bunch of benches, and then go do slams. Who cares? Hey, you're working out, you're getting your heart rate up. It's great. You're not bodybuilding. You just want to move your body. Perfect. But if you have a goal to step on stage and you're trying to be good at that, that's different.
So let's honestly, I could break it down to a really simple question to really clear this up, right? So let's say you are a bikini competitor
Yeah.
and your goal is to grow your glutes. What is going to be more effective? A hip thrust with heavy ass weight where you're pushing the fuck out of yourself, or a medicine ball slam, or, you know, some sort of, I don't know, whatever other movement, you know, that you guys
Wall
see
ball
happening.
squat or
Or yeah,
something.
wall
Yeah.
ball squat, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what's going to be better? Ask yourself that question, right? Like, could you be doing more working sets of that movement that is going to elicit a way better growth stimulus than your fucking whatever the fuck else, right?
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. Like, and the thing is this is coming from social media too, unfortunately. So it's like, yeah, people just, you know, they mirror what they see on social media.
Yep.
Yes. You and I think people a lot of times they love it's like variety, right? They go, "Oh,
That too. Yeah.
look, I'm doing this thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And nobody else is doing this. Yeah, this is cool."
Yeah.
Like people have that thing or they do some weird exercise. You're like, what are they doing? And it's like, "Oh yeah, well no one's doing this.
Hmm.
This is very cutting edge." Like you're like, "No, it's just because it doesn't really work." Like it
Yeah.
does
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. Just go do a regular squat. They're doing something weird. You're
Or
like,
like how
"No."
Adam was saying, your favorite social media influencer does it and grew,
Yeah.
so it must work. So you're gonna do that as well too,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
though it might not work for you because your body dynamics are a lot different than theirs.
Yeah, and I think too when people are hiring trainers, and they're telling the trainer their specific goal, and you have to be careful who you're training with because some trainers they're gonna train you how they like to train,
Hmm.
and not specifically for how you want to train and what your goal is. I've seen
Yes,
it.
I've seen it.
Some trainers will do like a lot of this plyo stuff because they like that type of
Yeah.
training.
Yeah.
And yet the client's like, oh, I want to step on stage and compete as a, fitness competitor, whatever. What are you doing? Like, why are you training that person like that? Right.
Yeah, so definitely pivoting into a really good conversation right now, which is coaches and trainers.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like when it comes to trainers specifically, right? We're talking about in the gym, people that are going to be helping you train. Yeah, like for the most part, like, you know, trainers are definitely going to have you do the same things that they like to do. But if you have a good trainer that is listening to what you want to achieve, they're going to be able to make a training split for you and do things with you that is going to benefit you for so you can progress in the direction that you want to progress in.
Mm.
Um, and I think a good trainer, somebody who's very, very experienced and somebody that's, knows what the hell they're doing is going to be able to know every single, type of training needed in order for you to meet whatever goal you want, right? But for the most part, like when you guys have clients that come to you, they tell you what their goals are, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
You just decipher that. You just
exactly.
decipher that, see what they want, and it's just as easy as that. Like, and for the most part, like, what's the most common goal of everybody? I want to lose fat and build muscle, right?
Exactly.
What other better training is there than fucking bodybuilding training
Yep.
for that?
Yep.
Right.
Seriously, like we've already perfected the fucking craft.
Yeah,
Yep.
Train
exactly.
for hypertrophy, make sure you're eating a caloric deficit, right? Making sure that macros are in a place where it's going to benefit you from an entirety of a standpoint, and you're solid. That's just what bodybuilding is at the end of the
Yeah.
day. All bodybuilding is just utilizing the food to build as much muscle as possible and to stay lean. That's all it is.
Yep.
So
It's pretty simple.
speaking about utilizing your food to build muscle from your off-season variety of food in comparison to in prep, is there a big difference in your food?
I would say yes and no. So when it comes to the peak end of an off season, or the peak of an off season, actually the middle of my off season, when the calories are the highest, like yeah, I'll be eating a little bit more calorically dense foods. I'll implement like some rice based or like whole grain cereals like Raisin Bran, um, in the morning or night. Uh, and then like just more fats from nut butters and things like mac nut oil, just making sure that like if whatever I'm getting is like the most that I'd be getting out of each macro. I think and then in a contest prep, obviously we're looking for the most lean sources of each macro, right? Whether it's just like completely lean sources of protein, complete carbohydrates, and making sure that my fats are omega rich, they're healthy, right? Making sure that they're only fats, right?
Mm-hmm.
That way we can teeter with the macros if we need to, um, very, very easily. But for the most part, like I mean, honestly, like lean meat and rice is going to be like a staple in everybody's, off
Mm-hmm.
season and or contest prep, or some sort of like lean protein and complete carbohydrate. Um, but personally, yeah, like when I'm at the peak end of my off season, calorically dense foods, I'm trying to push calories, like I'm trying to grow here, so I'm not going to be eating, 400 grams of rice every single meal. Even though like I have before, it's
Yeah.
just we want to be able to make sure that like digestion is smooth too,
Yep.
right? So because that's one of the biggest aspects of all this, making sure that appetite's in check too, which is going to come from a lot of different things. Um, but for the most part, like yeah, you want to make sure that like the foods that you're using in your off season are benefiting you from a caloric standpoint, making
Yep.
sure, yeah. So, and that's
Nutrient
really the
dense
difference.
food.
Nutrient dense food, calorically dense foods is what I'm looking for in the off season for sure.
Hmm.
So you're just eating the same thing, but just a little bit more, add in a little bit more fats because your macronutrients will allow it to do so.
Yeah, 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 for sure. Yeah, and then just making sure that whatever food preferences that I'm choosing, I'm able to partition correctly. I don't use any insulin or anything like that, so it's like I'm making sure that these food sources agree with me well, and that I'm able to actually utilize every single one of them to benefit my training performance. Which at the end of the day, in the off season, in my opinion, is the most important thing. Is going to be your training performance. If your training
Mm.
performance isn't steadily increasing over weeks of your off season, when everything is at peak, um, and like what are you doing?
So my next question is how disciplined is discipline? So in your off season, do you have like a heat meal day or a surplus day, or do you use your macros throughout the week as like a piggy bank so you might be able to afford a date night with your wife?
So everything that I have written out for me by my coach is completely set. Like there I don't use if it fits my macros at all. I eat the same foods every single day.
Okay.
I have one cheat meal per week on Saturday today, and that's just like
Surplus of the same
sure,
food.
exactly, surplus of the same food, and or maybe going out to have a burger and fry, right?
Okay.
Like yeah, getting too crazy with your cheat meals is only going to hurt you in any scenario. And unless if it's like a very special case.
Oh, that's pretty cool that your wife's down for that because like you guys are a young married couple with a young kid and date nights are still kind of important. You still need to keep the romance and
Yeah, it is.
you
It is.
but a burger day is still pretty decent.
Yeah, it is nice. Yeah, just being able to go to, the Cheesecake Factory and getting myself like a burger.
So do you drink any alcohol at
No,
all?
no.
Ever? You never do?
The last time I drank alcohol was actually on my wedding day. Like,
Oh wow.
yeah, so almost 3 years ago now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, no, I mean, like the thing is like when it comes to bodybuilding, like what are you doing when you drink alcohol? You know,
Yeah.
like you're just limiting your potential to build muscle. You're
Hmm.
Yep.
fucking yourself over for the next day.
Mhm.
You're not gonna be able to train as hard the next day because you're a little bit hungover or whatever the case may be, right?
Mhm.
So I mean, like if you're trying to be good at this sport, it's like
That's
leave the
not gonna.
alcohol alone for
Yeah.
sure. I think maybe like once a year, twice a year, if anything, like sure, why not? Um, I mean, I honestly just don't like it anymore. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
When I get out of the Marine Corps, I plan on smoking a lot of weed. So, but yeah,
That's
I
fine.
can't do it right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely think it's more
I
beneficial
mean,
than
even in
drinking
the
alcohol.
sport, at there's so many different levels of to this sport and levels of commitment that people would want to adhere to as well. I mean, for
Mhm.
some people, and it sucks, they want to do it for fun, but they get butthurt when they don't place well. I mean, are you still doing it for fun at that point, right? And there's diehard people like you, like, no, we're playing for blood. So there is a big variation and difference on how you take your off season into the season, all the way through the show. So I mean, yeah, this sport at that degree, it's not for everybody.
Yeah, especially in the NPC, obviously, like you have a lot of people, which is completely okay, who just want to say that they stepped on stage, which is cool. I totally respect that. I think it's awesome, and it gives them a source of motivation to get in really good shape once in their life. But when it comes to like an individual who wants to like pursue the sport, maybe turn pro one day, like everything fucking matters. Like I said earlier, like down to the amount of liters of water you drink a day, it fucking matters.
Mm.
Um, like if you come up to somebody and you're like, I want to be an IFBB pro, and you're fucking missing meals, like, what are you doing, man? Like, you're leaving so much on the table right there. Like, you should
Mhm.
not be missing meals, especially as an open bodybuilder.
Or not measuring or overeating,
Yeah.
and then how it adds up by the end of the week,
Oh, yeah,
right?
for sure. Yeah. In that aspect too, when you digging back down, like, oh, for sure. Yeah. Like, but in an off season standpoint, like obviously we all know like, pushing food is necessary. And like you got to get used to being uncomfortable. Like if you're out here missing meals because you just don't want to eat, like you're not going to be good. You
Yeah.
won't be. And
Yeah, like
and the
it's
dude
just
you're going
not
to be
gonna
standing
be.
next to on stage probably didn't miss any meals in his off season, and that's why he probably has 10 pounds of tissue on you.
Yeah.
So
But you can
Yeah.
see it. I mean, Mark and you, Jed, you guys been in the business for a long ass time. For the ones that say, yeah, I want to turn pro, or that's a thought, you can see the difference of discipline in those people versus the ones that are just like, oh yeah, I mean, pro would be nice, the one that are a little bit more casual. You can see it in their training, their exercise, and their execution of everything, their day-to-day life. The ones that do actually have the potential to becoming a pro,
yeah,
and
Mm.
it's this the
Yep.
writing's on the wall with it.
Oh yeah. And I mean, it takes a lot.
yeah.
So are you big into like supplements? Do you do creatine, fish oils, like all these type of things, or is that like a thing for you?
Yeah, for sure. I think, having those vitamins and health subs year round is important for many reasons. Yeah, I have my list of vitamins and health supplements on my phone. But yeah, I use,
Daily?
yeah,
Yeah.
daily for
Yeah.
sure, like my AMPMs, um, D3K2, looking fish oil omegas, making sure that I get those in,
Mm.
magnesium glycinate, TUDCA, NAC, milk thistle,
Mm.
so many things that I could just name.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super important. If your blood work's not looking good, fucking clean that shit up. All right.
Speaking of blood work, so how often do you do your blood work?
So typically, uh, um, after each phase, I'll say that, and that's it. After each
Oh,
phase.
well, with the
Yeah. Yeah.
military, you've got to do it once a year,
You see,
at
yeah, but
least,
that's
right?
that's like with
PHA, right?
with a PHA, but they do like HIV testing every year, but that doesn't really count.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
don't
that's
show you your
different.
blood work, but
Right.
and in Hawaii, it's a bit, I've had issues trying to go get blood work, just because you need a primary care
Yeah.
provider's
Mm.
Yeah. They're weird here.
referral. Yeah, but yeah, no. When I moved to the mainland, I mean, I'll still get it the same frequency that I already do. Um, honestly, I think blood work should be at least 4 times a year, at least.
Oh wow.
Twice at like, the minimum, very minimum, but 4 times a year if you're, like serious about keeping up with your health, I think,
Big
in my
Yeah,
opinion,
a
is
lot
good.
of
for
people miss
competitors,
that too.
Oh yeah,
obviously,
for
for
sure, for
Competitors,
yeah.
yeah.
competitors. Yeah.
I mean, you'd be surprised how much gains you're leaving on the table when your hormones and your thyroid's not
Oh yeah.
optimized. You're
Oh
not
yeah.
going to be functioning properly at all.
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
you know,
A healthy body is a reactive
mm-hmm,
body, right? Like making sure that you're healthy is 100% super important. Yeah. If and the thing is too is like you're going to be cutting yourself short if you're not healthy and you continue to ignore things like that. Um, because these health issues are going to keep you from getting on stage at the end of the day, and
Hmm.
that's really what it's all about, is getting on stage with the best package that you can bring every single time, making sure that you're getting better. And when you're not healthy, you're not going to be improving as much. You're not going to be responsive to the supplements, the
Yeah.
food, getting lean, right? That all matters when you're, healthy.
Oh, for sure. Well, and here's another one we didn't talk about. This is like stress management and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How do you handle all that stuff? Because I'm sure you get a lot of stress.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. When it comes to actual, like, no shit cortisol levels on a blood panel,
Yeah.
um, I think the best thing that you can do is obviously you can, start to look at your outside stressors and make sure that they're, starting to get mitigated. But honestly, like through supplementation as well can help a lot too. Like taking, like, KSM 66, like ashwagandha,
ashwagandha, yes.
and some other really good health stuffs as well, to really mitigate that, those cortisol levels. Because obviously we all know high cortisol can keep you from getting shredded. It can keep you from, gaining a lot of size. It can mess with your training performance. Obviously mess with your sleep as well. Um, I think managing stress also is just a mental thing. Like it's just something that you just need to make sure that you always have mentally in check. Like, I'm not going to let this bother me, right? And
Yeah,
just take deep breaths, making sure that you're taking time out
Mm.
of your day to sit down and just do nothing for fucking 15 minutes.
Do
yeah.
you do that? Do you meditate at all or anything like that?
I think my form of meditating is watching podcasts. Like I love Fuad's podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
Shout out
like
to
yeah,
that one
Bro
too.
Chat. So
Yeah, that
super
one's
yeah.
good.
funny. Definitely whenever I'm eating a meal, I have it open on my phone. I'm just like eating my meal, watching, Bro Chat,
Okay.
or any other podcast too. I like Hani Rambot's podcast. I
Hmm.
like, I mean, like, I'm not necessarily like sitting down and like meditating,
Right.
but I'm still, disconnecting for a little bit and just like,
Just zoning out.
making sure that I'm not thinking about anything else but like just my meal, and that's it.
Just watch this. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Right on,
What
man.
So
else
Yeah.
podcasts do you listen to as far as,
a ton.
we have pretty good ones out there that talk about the cutting edge things, peptides like Vigorous Steve and, Dean and that other guy, Kurt Havens and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Um, Chase Irons is another pretty decent one.
I really enjoy the J3U podcast.
Yeah, those are
I
good
I
too.
get a lot of my information actually from John Jewett.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's definitely a very reputable source of information. Whatever he cites, he's able to show you through, clinical studies. I like to, and honestly, most of the podcasts that I watch, like that are bodybuilding related, are just for entertainment, right? Like obviously, I watch, Fuad's podcast.
Yeah.
I like Hani Rambot's podcast. I watch like the Canadian Beef podcast with like Robin Strand and like Morgan McDonald. Um,
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah, just a lot of bodybuilding podcasts.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Something to it's just entertainment for you,
And
basically.
it's nice to
And
have
you
on
get
during
some
cardio.
knowledge. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Not for real. It's good to keep your mind in there. You just keep it focused. So are you, I mean, would you consider yourself like obsessed with bodybuilding,
100%.
Yeah. Then this is it. Then
Yeah,
this is how you know you're gonna do well, man. Because
it's
anybody who says you can do this without being obsessed, I mean, you are blessed with awesome genetics, or I don't know. Because I mean, I feel like for bodybuilding, you have to be obsessed to
Yeah.
be good.
how many times have you guys seen, that a couple of like individuals who have incredible genetics
Yeah,
that never make it
yeah,
because
yeah.
they either,
Well, they get to a certain point, right?
yeah, they get to a certain point. Yeah.
And then if they're not all in,
Yeah.
it's not gonna work.
I mean, we could sit here and go through like the last like 10 years of nationals, and like see some of the overall winners. Like, man, like I don't want to call anybody out specifically
Yeah.
because they
Let's
were
just
all
talk about
incredible bodybuilders.
genetics, but
But
not
they're not
enough
there
desire.
anymore.
Like
You're
Yeah, yeah,
saying,
like
yeah,
Callum Von Monger, what's his
yeah.
oh,
name?
Von Munger,
I mean,
yeah.
So
yeah,
he has the
Well, he was
genetics,
more
but
of a
he was
social
just
media
like
guy.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he
Not so much
wasn't
bodybuilder.
100% obsessed
Yeah.
with
I
bodybuilding.
mean, you could say
That's a
like
good one.
Victor Richards, like
Oh,
we're,
yeah, there you go. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's a good
yeah.
one.
So like, I mean, like there's a lot of examples out there. I mean, honest to God, he was a diehard bodybuilder, right? But
yeah,
like the thing is he got himself to a point and that was it,
yeah.
when he could have, really maximized his potential, like,
Mhm.
somebody like a Phil Heath or,
Yeah,
um,
Dorian
yeah,
or Sean Ray, those
Or
guys.
like
Yeah.
life happens, it might derail them from their goal.
life happens. But at the end of the day, like it's like a ton of shit has to happen for you to be able to stop bodybuilding. Like if you're at that level, that means you've loved it for a very, very long time. It's been a huge part of your life for that long, and you just stop it like all of a sudden. Like
Cold turkey.
there has to
Yeah.
be like serious shit that happens, you know?
Yeah.
Like I mean, like how many times have like you guys, had something come up in your life that was bad, but you didn't miss a meal, you didn't miss a training
Yeah.
session,
Well,
right?
Yeah.
another good example is that new men, not new, but that men's physique guy, Jeremy Povdin. He had
Yeah,
like
that's
kidney
right.
cancer.
Yeah.
He's just like,
God
fuck it.
bless him.
I'm gonna make the best out of whatever is
Mm,
left,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever
yeah.
happens, happens. He didn't just cut cold turkey and be like, oh, I'm sick, I'm done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, it's his life at the end of the day. That is what he wants to do. But I mean, honestly, props to him. I
Mm-hmm.
admire that a little bit for sure. For sure.
So do you think do you have a, in your head like a thought of like, okay, I'm gonna compete, be a competitor for, another 10 years and then that's it. Like, or how do you think about it? Are you just like, I'm just gonna train, do it, and I'll just stop when I feel like stopping? Like, do you have anything set like that? Because a lot of guys, there are guys who do. They have like, I got
Like I'm gonna
10
stop by
years in this
35.
sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, I got 10 years in this sport and that's it. Like
Yeah.
there's guys like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think I like to think about bodybuilding sort of like like you're a car with mileage on you. You know what I
mhm.
mean? And like you can only take so much mileage. And some people are born a 1996 Toyota Corolla, and some people are born, a fucking 2023 Ferrari Enzo,
Yeah.
like but the thing is like I don't really have like a quantified limit that I want to stop at. I want to be as jacked as I possibly can until until I'm not able to
To
anymore.
decide. Yeah.
Exactly. Like I want to be
Yeah.
that jacked dad at like the PTA meetings.
Yeah.
Like
Everyone's like, who the hell's this
exactly
guy?
like
Yeah.
I
That's
want
your
to
dad. Yeah, my
exactly,
dad can beat up your dad.
Yeah.
like I show up to the Boy Scout meetings and I'm just like that motherfucker, like
Like, yeah. Everyone just kind of looks at you weird. You're
exactly. I
like, I
mean,
made it. They think I'm
and
weird.
then
You're like,
my son, like all of his friends are like, bro, your dad is like Superman, like that'd be cool.
yeah.
So that's sort of my goal is. But as far as like, competing, I think I mean we see it with like a lot of like, pros nowadays where like when they get older, like they start to decline. And I think
Oh
when
yeah.
you're on that declining path and you no longer love it anymore, which I think is the big thing, is when you no longer love it anymore. I think that's when it's a good time to stop. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure you still love bodybuilding and stuff like
Yeah.
that, but like the thing is like it gets to a point where it's like your physique's declining and you no longer like have that same love for it anymore. And I think that's when
Yeah.
it's like okay to like, let it go.
And that, yeah, because that's kind of what happened with me. I got injured a few times, and
That
then
too. Yeah.
the dieting, and it was just hard. Like it
Yeah.
just got hard, and I was like, man, this is hard now. And I was like, and maybe that was part of it was I didn't have the same drive.
But at the
Yeah.
same time, you turned in your posing trunks for your jujitsu gi,
Which
and
is
the
cool as fuck.
energy just went
I did.
another
I
direction.
did. Well, yeah, I did. And people don't realize though, I don't know, it was probably a good 2 year window, where I was kind of like bodybuilding and still kind of like, okay, am I still going to do it or not? And it was like 2 years where I was like, it wasn't like I just said one day I'm not doing it.
But you're
It took
bodybuilding
me,
for 20 years,
well, longer than
It's
that.
different for
It
30
everybody.
took me a
years,
long
yeah.
time. It took me a couple years to finally go, all right, dude, yeah, you're not doing it. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, what are you gonna do? And then I had to, and I knew for me anyway, I was like, I need to do something else.
Yeah.
Some people they don't have to, whatever, they can just go take up sewing. I don't know. But me, I wanted to do something physical, right? I was
Absolutely.
like, I need
Yeah.
another physical thing that I can do. And jujitsu was very appealing to me. So
Yeah, jujitsu is a
yeah,
badass,
yeah,
secondary sport for you. I think, yeah, especially when you have like the mindset of a really good bodybuilder like yourself, it's you need something else to be able to pursue, right? Like you need it.
you need goals. Yeah,
Exactly. You
yeah,
need goals, whether it's like, fuck man, like who else is somebody like that? I mean, yeah, we see a lot of bodybuilders nowadays, like, go do jujitsu or
yeah.
like Dorian Yates does yoga.
He
Like,
does yoga. I
Yeah.
know that was interesting. He did
Yoga.
yoga, but then again, that's Dorian Yates, right? You look
yeah,
at
yeah,
like
yeah.
the mindset of Dorian Yates and what he did in the sport. Like, whoa, okay, that guy was like
And now he's
at another
tranquil.
level. So it makes sense that he would do yoga. I was like, yeah, because he was at a different. He even talks about it. He was at a different level
Yo,
of
yeah,
mindset.
yeah,
Or
for
even
sure.
like a
So
guy like Mike Israetel
yeah,
from
yeah, Mike is yeah,
bodybuilding
yeah. No, he's great
to
too.
jujitsu.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
he does jujitsu and bodybuilding still.
Yeah.
He does both, which is
It's
kind of
very impressive.
cool.
Very
Like
impressive.
that's pretty cool. That's hard to do.
Very hard to do. Yeah, especially
Yeah.
when we talk about injuries and stuff
Yeah,
and keeping yourself healthy.
it's hard. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I give him props. Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
see yourself
So,
doing anything or a secondary thing other than bodybuilding?
I am a huge bass fishing fan.
oh
Okay.
wow.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I did a little bit of competitive bass fishing, just like pond tournaments and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
It's still a love that I have. And I think, definitely like when my kid gets a little bit older, I'll definitely go and bass fish a little bit with him.
Teach them how.
Exactly.
It's
Like
like your
I'm really into it actually.
meditative state too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Yeah, exactly. That's another
Zone
form of a
out.
meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zone out.
Yeah.
And
I don't
yeah.
think I'm an individual that can sit down and meditate. I think I always have to be doing something, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think bass fishing is definitely, was like my first hobby that I really, really loved, and I still love it a lot.
Mm,
I think when I'm, back on the mainland and I'm able to do so again, I will definitely get back into it like full throttle.
that's
It's
awesome.
it's really expensive though, and so is bodybuilding though. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Those are expensive
It's a
sports.
good
So
trait to
expensive.
to teach your son as
Oh
far
yeah.
as fishing.
Yeah.
I mean, he can feed himself for the rest of his life if
Yeah,
he
yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to
yeah,
as well
yeah.
too.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool like novelties when it comes to that specific sport too. It's like the certain like brands of lures and brands of,
Mm-hmm.
rod and reel combinations and stuff like that. Like it's really
Yeah.
cool. And like actually knowing how to like, look for fucking bass is cool as fuck too. It's a really cool sport for
It's
sure.
a huge sport in the
It
mainland.
is. It is a huge
Yeah,
sport.
it's
Yeah, yeah,
huge.
yeah. Really cool stuff.
It's awesome, man.
It's big sponsors, big money in bass fishing. I've
That
seen.
too. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, my original plan, like, leaving high school was I'm going to get a bass fishing scholarship and I'm going to go bass fish for Georgia College, and that ended up not working. So,
Ah.
yeah, but it's okay.
It was a dream. It's okay.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
besides teaching your son how to bass fish, um, how soon do you think is soon enough to start integrating some of the bodybuilding or weightlifting skills here in the gym with your
I
son?
think it's a great question. And the thing is, I think it's important, especially when you have a son and you're a father, to not like rush him into anything. I think it's important for him to find out his own passion because I'm a fan of every single sport. I watch every single sport like to a T. Um, I love soccer, I love football, I love baseball, I love basketball. I think if I'm able to, introduce these sports to him or these certain, some certain activities, he can see like which one he likes
Yeah.
the most, right? And
mhm.
then he can pick from there and just
Yeah.
carry on with it. And honestly, being like knowledgeable about training, I can help him in any sort of aspect when it comes to strength training for sports. So like as far as like an age goes though, like really just whenever he's coordinated enough to lift weights properly
Yeah.
and safely. So yeah, I don't know, honestly don't know what age that would be.
No, you see it a lot. I mean, the parents bring their kids
It's
here and you
awesome.
watch them grow
Yeah.
up and they start imitating their parents. It's super
It's
adorable.
great. It's
Yeah.
fucking awesome. I think it's one of the coolest things that I see here every single day. And I give you props for letting them do that. It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. I
Yeah.
think it's good to have the kids. They get exposure, and maybe that's something they're like, I want to do this one day. I
For
want to work
sure.
out,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever.
And I think
It's
when
good.
the kids see their parents doing that, they see like, oh, like my mom and dad, they hold this importance of physical fitness.
Yeah.
So that's something that I need to do because obviously kids, they learn from our
I
examples.
think so. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely a very important thing to do is, lead by example, teach by example, making sure that your kids are seeing the healthy habits that you do,
Mm-hmm.
and that they are, starting to learn from them.
For sure.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays, man.
Especially
The way
nowadays.
things
Yeah,
are.
especially
People are
nowadays.
sitting around not doing anything,
Half of
just on
America,
Lazy,
their phone,
half of
convenient.
America,
sit on their
60% of
phone for
America.
8 hours, 10 hours a
Exactly.
day. So it's
And
good to
like you
get
brought up
them.
a good point. I mean, you and your wife both are like very love coming to the gym a lot and
Absolutely.
eat
Yeah.
well and everything like that. So incorporating those same life learning skills and habits to your just son, I'm sure like man, that kid's gonna grow up to be a beast if he wants to.
I hope so. I hope he finds. And here's the thing. I don't want to like ever, here's the thing. If he's like, Dad, I want to be a bodybuilder, and he's like 16 or 17 years old, I'm like, okay, let's fucking do it. But I don't want to like be like, you're gonna be a bodybuilder when you grow up. You're gonna be Mr. Olympia. Like, no, that's not how
Right.
you
Yeah,
do
let him
things.
choose his path.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's my passion, right? If he wants that to be his passion too, like that's great. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna be like, all right, man, like we're gonna, you're a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Like that's just not how you're supposed to do things, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that one, man. Once
You're
he's
gonna
old enough.
are you the dad that's gonna have him try out like every sport to see what he likes?
Yeah,
Or
I think having him, try a diversity of sports is
yeah,
important too, especially from a young age. That way we can see like, what he can be committed to for a long time. Because if you want to be great at anything, you're gonna have to be doing it for a while.
yeah,
There are very few people who are anomalies that are able to play football 3 years and then go get a scholarship to fucking Georgia, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen every day. So
Yeah.
like having him, watch sports, and really see like which one he likes the best, from a young age, and then we put him in that sport from elementary through high school is, what's going to make him great and have the best chance to succeed as much as he can throughout that sport.
Oh yeah. No, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hey, say he just decides that sports isn't his thing and he's just wants to be a freaking scholar or something. You're like,
Be
hey, all right,
awesome.
my
I'd
kid
be
is
A master
totally
chess
cool with
player.
that, man.
smart, man.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
he
yeah.
doesn't want to do sports,
Yeah.
whatever, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
support him in that, like, hey, this
100%.
kid's smart, he wants to do this.
Are you
That's
kidding me?
fine.
That'd probably be the best thing.
All right.
That'd be the
You're
best thing,
like,
probably. Yeah,
yeah, there you go.
for him to be
Yeah.
incredible in school, and then
Yeah.
then we could probably start to get him in the gym then. But
Right.
yeah,
Well, you want to still have him exercise,
yeah, for sure,
but
for
like,
sure.
but yeah, but the
Yeah,
kid's smart. He wants to go to MIT, whatever. Hey, cool, right on,
man, if my kid was that smart, that'd be fucking awesome. That'd be awesome.
Never know.
Your retirement plan.
Yeah,
Never
that's
know. Yeah.
yeah.
All right, man. It was great having you on,
I
dude.
really appreciate the
Yeah.
Thank
opportunity,
you.
guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you
it's
for
good.
coming through before you leave.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I
I'll be
know.
here. I'll be here. Until Thursday of next week, and then so my last training session here will be quads.
All right.
Yeah.
Last one here at Iron One. I'm sure you'll be back here one day to visit,
Oh,
maybe. Who
100%.
knows?
If
Yeah.
My son was born here, so we'll have to come back.
You'll have to
So
come back and show him where
Definitely.
he
I
was
want I want
from.
to bring him back when he's like able to remember things.
Okay.
So it means a lot more to him.
5, 6.
5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. It'll be, and we'll probably come back more than once. And
Okay.
I'll for sure we'll be back here without a
Yes.
doubt. Like
Yes.
as long as this gym is standing, I'll always make
Yeah.
sure to make it
Yeah.
back here.
Yep.
Yeah, this is definitely
Awesome,
the
man.
place that I will always want to be over any other place. So
Thanks, bro.
Thank
Thanks
you.
yeah,
for the
Thanks for
support all the
coming
years,
of
man.
through.
course, of course.
Doing good. So,
And congratulations
and
again on the, all of your accolades from
Thank you.
your bodybuilding shows, and now this, besides your wedding, your child,
yeah.
and now they're being a recruiter.
Yeah,
So congratulations.
thank you
And
so much. I
I'll
appreciate
be
that.
looking forward to seeing you, man, because I know you're gonna do some big things in the sport, dude.
I
So
I'm hoping
I
so.
know it. We're just a few more years. I want to see you,
Speak it
see where
into
you're at, dude.
existence.
See
Yeah,
where
Absolutely.
you're
Thank you.
at. Yep.
absolutely.
All right. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time. Aloha.